Hi guys, it's Yongxin Hu. Welcome to the 28 Days Eat with Hu's Kitchen video series. Today is day 1. I'm super excited. For this morning's breakfast, I'm gonna show you guys how to make a really easy Chinese egg wrap. After watching my video, if you do still struggle with the recipe, I'm gonna put the whole recipe, include the ingredient list, on my website. I'm gonna pop the link down below, make sure you check it out. So first of all, I'm gonna chop some spring onions. I'm gonna put them in my little pot first. Next thing I'm gonna chop will be a handful of coriander. Them on the side. And the next thing we're gonna prepare will be the lettuce of your choice. Here I'm gonna use my most favorite lettuce, iceberg lettuce. So I'm just gonna take a few big leaves of the lettuce. I'm just gonna give it a chop in the middle first. The next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open a can of sweet corn. I'm also gonna use some ham, but if you're vegan or vegetarian, just ignore this part. I'm gonna show you guys how to make a sauce, because normally we'll brush a thin layer of sauce on top of your wrap. So first of all, I'm gonna need a pan, and I need about 10 grams of plain flour. Then I need about 100 grams of Sprite. If you don't have Sprite at home, you can also use 100 grams of water and a tablespoon of sugar. So, before I put more ingredients into the pan, I'm gonna give it a quick stir. Now I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce. And now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of the sweet bean paste. The last thing I'm gonna put in this sauce will be a pinch of sugar. Because the sweet bean paste is already really salty, so we're not gonna add any additional salt in this sauce. And I'm gonna give it a stir. I'm gonna put a saucepan on the hob and start with the high heat. When you can see bubbles appear in your saucepan, and we're going to turn the heat down to medium heat and stir the sauce until it's thick. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to make the mixture for the wrap. First of all, we need about 100 grams of plain flour, I'm gonna use about 50 grams of maize meal. So the one I'm using is from the Hollander Barrels. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the flour mixture through the sieve. And now we're going to add about 360 grams water. Right, I'm gonna add about half of the water and give it a stir first. Now I'm gonna add another half of the water. Now you're supposed to have a lump-free, really smooth mixture. So, the main part, before we turn on the heat, we need to put some oil in a small pot, and we're going to brush the cold pan before we heat it up. I'm just gonna do now. I'm gonna turn on the heat and make sure your heat is stay on the medium heat the whole time. Before we pour the mixture, we're gonna give a mixture a quick stir. And we're going to add about 1 cup of mixture in the frying pan. And we're going to just quickly turn it around before the mixture sets in the pan. When the mixture starts to set, we're going to add an egg. So basically, we're going to just crack the egg on top of your pancake, just like this. And then we're just going to break the egg and use it to cover the whole pancake. So by adding the egg, it's gonna make the pancake slightly harder and easier for us to turn it over afterwards. So before the egg is gonna set completely, we're going to add a little bit of spring onion. And we're going to add a little bit of sesame seed. I'm going to lose the edge a little bit. So we're gonna wait about 2 minutes before we flip it. Make sure the heat stay at a medium-low heat. And depends on how big is your pan. If you see you have a really small pan, probably I would say flip the pancake just right after 1.5 minutes. So when the eggs nearly set, we're gonna flip our pancake. So after about 20 seconds, we're gonna turn the heat to really low. And we're gonna brush the pancake with the sauce we just made. And then we're gonna just turn the heat off completely. And on top of the sauce, I'm gonna add 2 slices of ham. I'm gonna add a little bit of sweet corn. I love sweet corn. I'm gonna add a little bit of extra sweet corn on top of the ham. And then we're gonna add some pork floss. And obviously, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can ignore this part as well. Just tiny bit of pork floss. It's kind of like a candy floss, but made from pork. And we're gonna add some extra spring onion. Oops. And some coriander. And some of our lettuce on top. And then I'm going to just drip a little bit of extra sauce on the wrap and the lettuce. And before we finish, I'm gonna spray a little bit of vinegar. And add an extra pinch of sugar on top of my pancake. Then we're going to fold it like this. And fold another side. That's how you make a Chinese egg wrap. Obviously, you can just serve like that on a plate, but what we normally use, or how we normally eat, we'll put the wrap on a piece of baking paper, and we're going to just literally wrap like this. Now I'm going to do the most important part. I'm going to try my wrap. A bit hot. So good. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm going to enjoy my wrap. I will see you guys at lunchtime. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back. It's Yongxin Hu again, and it's lunchtime. So for today's lunch, I'm gonna teach you guys make a really delicious and pretty dish. It's called Korean rainbow rice bowl. Right, so you will need lots of vegetables, but first of all, you need your rice. Right, I'm gonna show you guys. So for my rice, I'm gonna use my Chinese rice cooker. And if you don't have a rice cooker at home, I will say just follow the instructions at the back of your rice. Right, the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna prepare my prawns. So first of all, I'm gonna take the head off. And then from about here, I'm gonna go in like this and get all the nasty bits and bobs out. Oh, this is quite clear. Then I'm going to peel all the shells off the prawn. And that's my prepared prawn. I'm gonna chop some spring onions. Right, the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna prepare the courgette, or in some countries you might call it zucchini. So I'm gonna chop to half because I only need about half. And I'm gonna peel the skin off. Then I'm going to cut the zucchini to slices first. So from the slices, we're going to cut the zucchini to even smaller strips. The next thing I'm going to prepare will be the carrot. So I only need about half of the carrot. Then, same as the zucchini, we're going to cut the carrots in slices first. And then, same, we're going to cut them to strips. And then mushrooms. So for mushrooms, we just need to chop it to slices will do. And then peppers. So I learned a way you can, waste as less as possible when you prepare a peppers from tin. So basically, you just cut at the top around, and then give it a tiny squeeze. And then you can break the top off, just like this. Then you get the most of your peppers. So for peppers, we're going to chop them to thin slices again. So in my rice bowl, I'm gonna put in some enoki mushroom as well. So if you don't know what that is, or you don't like it in general, just ignore this part. So basically, we only need to chop the end of enoki mushroom off, and we can eat the most of the part. And then we need about 100 grams of bean sprouts, a big handful of spinach. So we're gonna give it a wash and we're gonna fry it later. Now I'm gonna show you guys the sauce of this dish. So basically it's a Korean chili sauce. So what we're gonna need, we're going to need some chili paste. So here I'm using the Korean chili paste, and I'm gonna have 2 tablespoons of that. Put in my saucepan. Then 1 tablespoon of sesame seed. And 3 tablespoons of Sprite. And 1 tablespoon of water. And 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Then we're going to just turn on the heat. So we're going to start with high heat and give it a quick stir. Because there isn't a lot of liquid in the sauce, so after about 10-15 seconds, we're going to turn the heat to medium. Oh, that smells delicious. If you can't handle spicy food, or you just don't like spicy food in general, I would say add light chili paste. Now we are going to fry all the vegetables individually. So I'm gonna turn on the heat. Tiny bit of olive oil in here. So the first thing I'm going to fry will be the zucchini. And I'm gonna add tiny bit of salt in the frying pan. Then I'm going to turn the heat to medium low. The reason why I add salt is because salt will help bring the water out of the vegetable slightly faster. So we'll fry the zucchini on the medium heat about 5 minutes. Or when it's like quite soft. So my rice is done now. I'm just going to, spoon a few spoons and cover the bottom of the bowl and put it on the side for now. So I'm going to just plate the zucchini on the rice straight away. So basically we're just going to use, small corner of the rice bowl, just like this, and that will do. The next thing we're gonna fry will be the mushrooms. So tiny bits of oil and a high heat, and then we're gonna put our mushrooms in, and then we're gonna add tiny bit of salt. And give it a good mix, and then we're gonna turn the heat to medium. I'm going to plate the mushroom straight on the rice as well. And then I'm going to use the same method. Fry the rest vegetables. Then put the spring onions in my rice bowl. Now I'm gonna fry my spinach. And now I'm gonna fry bean sprouts. So I'm gonna use about 100 grams of bean sprouts. Then I'm gonna put my bean sprouts in my rice bowl. Now I'm gonna fry my prawn, and I would say depends on how big is your prawn. It's roughly between 1 to 2 minutes each side. The prawn I'm using is quite big, so I would say I will push it to 2 minutes. And we're gonna use like a medium-high heat to make sure the prawn is definitely cooked through. I'm gonna take my prawns out now, and I'm gonna put it on a plate and plate them up later. Now I'm gonna do my frying egg, and I'm gonna use a lot of oil. Brush my little egg frying pan, and then I'm gonna heat it up. God, this pan's so cute. And I'm gonna crack my egg in. Right, now I'm going to put my frying egg middle of the bowl. And I'm going to put my prawn on top of my frying egg. Then I'm gonna add my enoki mushrooms. The last step, I'm gonna pour the sauce around. Right, now is the most important part, having my lunch. So I'm going to put a little bit coriander leaves on as a garnish, and I'm gonna break the yolk. Oh, look at that. So I'm going to give all of my ingredients a quick mix. Right, after we mix everything together, I'm gonna give a try. Eat my prawn first. Ooh. Mmm. Oh my god. It's so good. It's so good. It's so delicious. Right, now I'm gonna enjoy my lunch. I will see you guys at dinner time. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back, and it's dinner time. It's Yongxin again. I hope you enjoy your breakfast and your lunch you made today with me. So for tonight, I'm gonna teach you guys make a really popular dish. I mean, like lots of my friends have asked this recipe from me lots of times previously, and it's the sticky pork belly. So this will be the last video of the day, and as I mentioned before, there will be another 27 videos over the next 27 days. If you like my videos and want to learn more cooking skills and cooking recipes, and you want to cook with me in general, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you really like my food, I do hope you can give me a little bit of encouragement by just liking my video, tap the little thumbs up button, and I will be really appreciated. Now, let's get everything started. Right, first of all, I'm going to peel the ginger. I find this way you can get most of the ginger rather than, waste lots of ginger. After peel my ginger, I'm gonna chop it to slices. And then I'm gonna separate it to two different piles. So for this pile, I'm gonna use 6, and for this pile, just whatever remaining. So for the first pile, we're going to use them help us to get rid of the unpleasant smell from the pork. And for the second pile, we're gonna put that go into the sauce. Next, we're going to prepare our spring onions. So I'm gonna separate them to 2 piles as well. So 2 for going to the sauce, 1 for garnish. So I'm going to chop these 2 first. You don't need to chop to really small bits, and just the long one will do. Just like that. And then for your garnish part, I'm going to chop it quite thin and small slices. For potato, it's totally optional. I mean, the dish doesn't have potato in at all, but when I called my mom this morning, my mom said, why don't you put in some potato, just 1 will do. And I'll say, right, I'm gonna give it a try. Right, I'm just gonna cut my potato to cubes, so it doesn't need to be really small. And I will say, just this big kind of cubes will do. After I chop the potato, and I'm gonna put them into the pan and put them on the hob to boil straight away. Now I'm going back to the ingredients part, which we're going to use in the sauce. So we have gingers here, we have spring onions here, and we need some star anise. And so we need about 4 of them will do, because they are quite strong and we don't want them to cover the whole dish. Like that, we're gonna put it on the side. And we also need some Sichuan pepper. So I'm gonna show you guys, this look like that. So it's totally optional as well. I mean, I like this dish have a little bit of umami taste, but if you don't like that, or if you never had Sichuan pepper, you can just ignore that. That's absolutely fine. So basically, just a pinch of them, like that will do. And we also will need some rock sugar and lump sugar. And I think you guys will be quite confused about these 2 different types of sugar. So I'm gonna show you guys what they look like. So normally you will use this rock sugar, which will look like this. So obviously they're all made from different plants, so the color wise will be slightly different. So traditionally, we're gonna use the rock sugar, especially it's this kind of yellow rock sugar, because it will give the dish a little bit extra color. If you don't have them, that's absolutely fine. You can just use some normal sugar, but the taste-wise, it will be slightly different. Right. So since I have both of the sugars, and I'm gonna use about 2, 4, 6 of the little lump sugar, and I'm gonna put about 4 pieces of the rock sugar in here as well. I mean, I do like spicy food, and for the extra dry chili, if you say you can't really eat spicy food, just ignore this part. And for myself, I'm gonna add 2 chili here, and they are dry chilies. Right, and that's all the dry ingredients we need for the dish. So basically it's the green bean noodles, and I'll show you guys. It looks like plastic, but after you soak them into the warm water, and they'll become really soft noodle texture. So I'm gonna use this in my dish as well because I really like it. Right, and now I'm going to soak all the green bean noodles in the water. So you can leave them like this and come back check them later, and they will all be in the water. And we'll probably let them soak about 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna put them on the side for now. Right, so for the potato, we're going to use boiling hot water. And I already boiled my kettle. So I'm just gonna put them straight in the pan. And I'm just gonna let them boil for about 10-15 minutes until you can put a knife through them. And for the pork belly, it's slightly different here. We're going to put all the pork belly in there first. And I'm going to add some ginger. And I'm going to put 2-3 pieces of star anise in here as well. Just help us to get rid of the unpleasant smell. And here we'll need cold water just from the tap. So the amount of the water we'll need will just be enough to cover the pork. And we're gonna turn this hob on high heat for now until it's boiled, and then we're gonna turn it down. And apart from ginger and star anise, we'll also need about 1 tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine. The pan which has the pork in has boiled, and I'm going to turn it down now. So we want it down to the medium heat, that will do. And at the same time, probably you guys can see like lots of foams on here. So we're going to, take all the foamy bits away. So basically, foamy bits is the blood left in the pork belly, and we don't want them in our dish. And so that's the reason why I took them away. My potatoes are done. I'm going to drain them and put them on the side. Right, we're gonna stop boil them once there's no foamy bits in there at all. So I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm going to get all the ginger and star anise out first. So I'm going to get the pork bellies out in a bowl first. Oh, they're really hot. Right. So. Oh, Jesus! So I'm gonna wash the pork belly in the warm water. As you guys can see, there's still lots of foamy bits in the water or on the pork belly. And after that, I'm going to put in another bowl and let them dry in the bowl completely. So my pork bellies are cool now. I'm going to chop them to small cubes, just like this will do. And I'm gonna do the same for the next 3 slices as well. So after about 15 minutes, that's what my green bean noodles looks like. So they're fairly soft, and we're just gonna drain them and put them on the side. Right now, I'm going to turn on the heat, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of olive oil in here. Then I'm going to put all the pork straight in the pan. So we're going to fry the both sides of our pork bellies until they just start to turn brown. So basically we're going to add a little bit of caramelization on the pork. So make sure you use like medium-low heat for this step. And I'm just gonna turn all the pork bellies after about 1 minute. But after we turn all of them to another side, we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine. And we're gonna add all the dry ingredients in the pan now. So spring onions, ginger, star anise, dry chilies, and Sichuan pepper. And we're gonna leave the sugars on the side for now. Now I'm gonna add another tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine. And 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. Two tablespoons light soy sauce. Then I'm going to add about 350 ml of beer of your choice. And after beer, we're going to add all of our sugar in. Then we're going to add water, just enough to cover the pork. Then we're going to turn the heat up to bring the liquid to boil. Once it's boiled in the pan, I'm going to turn the heat down to medium. Now I'm going to light it to simmer for about 30 minutes. So it has been about 20 minutes because I'm going to add my potatoes and my green bean noodles. So I'm going to add them just right after 20 minutes. And I'm going to give them a quick stir. Now we're gonna keep an eye on them until the sauce starts to become really sticky. So now it's about 30 minutes. So most of the liquid in the pan is all gone now. And the pork is fairly sticky, I would say. I'm gonna serve them in a bowl now. Now I'm going to chop a tiny bit of chili. Once again, if you can't eat spicy, or if you don't like chili, just ignore this part. And I'm gonna add spring onion on the top, and a handful of coriander. If you do want your dish to look slightly prettier, you can add a tiny bit of sesame seed. Here we go. So for this dish, I'm gonna serve it with the leftover rice from today's lunch. And if you want to warm your rice up, the quickest way just, spoon about 1 portion and add a little bit of water and put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. Now I'm going to do the most important part, having my dinner. Right, let's give it a try. A bit coriander, tiny bit of chili. Oh. Oh. Oh my god, it's so good. You guys have to try this. It's so good. Right, I'm gonna enjoy my dinner now. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.